Uh, Welcome. Thank you for joining us in the spirit of perfect harmony. We are the Center for Spiritual Living, West Georgia. We study and practice a philosophy and science of the mind we know as God. And with our spiritual presence and our participation in our service here this morning, we create a higher state of consciousness, rise above any negative energy that may have prevailed this past week, and manifest love. We know love is synonymous to God. Our master teacher, Reverend Sandra Jackson, will now proceed with our service. Reverend?
Okay, all right. Thank you, Mike. Good to see you all once again. Let us begin as we always do by turning within and grounding ourselves in the full and complete awareness that right where we are, God is. That through our every thought, word, and action, God is speaking, expressing, and living itself in us, through us, and as us. And so we open our hearts and minds today to be fully and completely present to that presence that is the very life that we live. Every breath we take is a reminder that God breathes us. And so we are open, available, and fully present today as we make ourselves aware that we are who we are, and that which we are is divine. It is spirit, it is life itself. And so whatever may be going on in our world and in our lives today, I am knowing that somewhere in us there is an answer. And that answer is making itself known to us with joy and with love, with ease. And it has the power to make the changes in our life that we so desire. And so we open our hearts to today's message and know that there is a divine guidance system within us that is guiding, directing, and leading us throughout our entire lives. And we accept it because we know unequivocally that right where we are, God is. And it is the power, the wisdom, the intelligence, and the creativity that is moving in us and through us and as us, allowing us to be all that we possibly can be. And so this is the truth for this day, for this moment, for this very now time. And we allow it to be as we together in our own way say, and so it is. Okay, so good morning, good morning, good morning. And so we will begin with Dorothea.
You're muted, Dorothea.
Vision, mission, state.
I apologize. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Vision and mission statement. We will begin. CSL West Georgia is a joyful global community where everyone belongs. Through our unique spiritual teachings, we provide a safe environment to experience compassionate living. Our declaration of principles. I believe in the unity of all life, and that the highest God and the innermost God is one God. There is one life of which I am a part, one intelligence which I use, one substance which takes form as my life. Oops. and stop sharing.
So, all right, so you have to tell us who that is.
That's a laughing little girl.
Okay. Okay, so thank you, Dorothea. And it is time for our song. Cynthia and Connie are back today. Yay!
Okay, unmute us.
We
To unmute us.
We are.
Hi. Hello, everybody. Good morning. This is a song to celebrate our new space. It's a song I was writing a couple of months ago, and I put it down. And then when we, as a community, created this fabulous new space together, I got inspired and finished the song. And it's called It's Totally Possible. The world is waiting, so let us begin with power and humility. We're not afraid to say we want it all. It's a world of possibilities. We created this. There's so much we can do. We can take the world apart and put it back together new. And innocence will rule the world. Kindness will be gold. And trust will be our currency. With love beautiful and bold. And it's totally possible to let all our dreams come true. It's totally possible. Our dreams are precious. Will you hold mine? And I'll hold yours here in my heart. And as dreams manifest in our reality, let the celebration start. We created this. And there's so much we can do. We can take the world apart and put it back together new. And innocence will rule the world. Kindness will be gold. And trust will be our currency. With love beautiful and bold. And it's totally possible to let all our dreams come true. It's totally possible. Moving to abundance from scarcity, from isolation to community. With loving hearts we trust what the universe holds for us. We created this. There's so much we can do. We can take the world apart and put it back together new. And innocence will rule the world. And kindness will be gold. And trust will be our currency. With love beautiful and bold. And it's totally possible Yes, it is.
Oh,
Totally possible.
Not only possible, the dreams have come true. Yes. Thank you. Okay. All right. And this morning's reading is by Lily. Good morning, Lily.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning. The reading today is from the Science of Mind by Ernest Holmes. We like to try out new things and see how they work. There wouldn't be much fun in living unless we did this, for life is a great adventure. As a matter of fact, it is the great adventure. Unless new things are happening to us, life becomes uninteresting and drab. When God put us here, he made each one of us just a little different. And if divine intelligence made each one of us just a little different, as though each one were a new mold, then the greatest adventure in life would be an experiment with ourselves to see what we could do with this thing that is within us. We seem to be made up of flesh and blood and a hank of hair, a few clothes and certain conditions and surroundings. We seem to be the product of our environment. But this is a superficial viewpoint, for we are thinking of everyone as having just ordinary, commonplace talents. The first thing we know, an Emerson or Einstein appears, or a Buddha or a Jesus, and all the world marvels and says that they were not made of the same kind of stuff that you and I are made of. This is where we make our biggest mistake, for in reality, you will never discover anything outside you greater than you yourself. Even the words of the great men to us mean nothing to us unless we can understand them. The things they say and do have no significance until we grasp their meaning. And we couldn't grasp their meaning unless there was something in us that is already equipped to seize on the truths they teach and make them our own. When you hear when you hear a symphony, you don't go just to see others perform or hear a great artist sing or a great musician play. You really go because they awaken within you something that corresponds to and with what they are doing. And they really give you back to yourself. This too is an adventure in self-discovery, enabling the miraculous. Jesus turned water into wine. We believe that he did this because we believe that the power of God was in him, and it is the power of God that made the grape and the vine and the juice. And it is really the power of God through the laws of nature that converts them into wine. Jesus changed this whole process and immediately converted water into wine because the power that makes the wine and the water was already in him. But suppose someone were to say to us, why don't you turn water into wine? What would your response be? Well, we know what it would be. We would say, well, I can't turn water into wine. I wouldn't know how to do that. The very idea is ridiculous. But how can we know that we couldn't turn water into wine? Who told us that we couldn't turn water into wine? Perhaps we should think the thing over again and try to find out what it was that Jesus understood that enabled him to perform this miracle. But someone may say, well, Jesus was different from other people. And maybe he was, but he didn't say that he was. As a matter of fact, he said, what I am doing, you can do too, if what? When you actually believe in a power greater than you are and come to know that you as a human being have nothing to do with the process of life whatsoever, you can do anything as long as you believe. You live, but you did not create your own life. You think, but you didn't create your own mind. You are a spirit, but you didn't make the spirit. At once we are confronted with such a stupendous thought that it almost staggers the imagination. There is something in me that is greater than I appear to be. And that something really isn't myself as a mere human being at all. It is something that was put there when I was born. There is a presence and a power within me waiting for me to recognize it. but my very denial of it makes it impossible for it to operate in a larger way. It is true that it has already worked in me, in digesting my food, circulating my blood, causing my heart to beat, giving me such intelligence as I had. It is true that I didn't make any of these things. Perhaps I am asleep to the greater possibility. Perhaps I am someone who is drugged and only half conscious. If I could only wake up, if I could only believe that the power which has done all this for me might be able to do a little more, perhaps it could do something beyond my wildest dream. Well, how do I know? It told Einstein how to figure out his equations. It told Emerson how to write his essays. It told Browning how to write his poems. What happened to these people? They must have believed that they could do these things, or they never would have attempted them. And so it is.
Thank you, Lily. And that is our lesson for today. Thank you. I know it was a little bit long, but you know what? I wanted the fullness of the story, not just a little bit of it. I wanted us to see it. We needed all of it. Let me put it that way. Okay. All right. We needed all of it. So good morning once again. Today, our topic is, we're continuing on with this month's lesson on pausing for guidance. And today we're talking about the GPS, our guidance positioning system. You know, we all use them in our cars. I don't know about you, but I rarely go anywhere without using mine these days. And the reason for that is because it knows more than I do about what's going on in the road. So just a little story. Last week, I was going somewhere and the GPS told me to go the long way around. And I was like, I know the shorter route. And so I'm just going to take the shorter route, which I did. And guess what? I wound up in the line of traffic because the shorter route had construction on it and they were closing down. It was like a 2-lane road and they had closed down 1 lane. And so I had to wait longer than I would have if I had taken the longer route, which had no traffic on it. So the GPS sometimes knows more than I do. But I was just thinking this morning, you know, did you ever think about what Jesus would say if he was here today? Stop and think about it. If he was just transported from his time to our time, you know, there are people who believe he's coming back. Well, let's just pretend he came back and he's out walking the streets today. And he was like, what on earth is this all about? Just think, he would think we lived with miracles. Stop and think of that. He would think that our lives are miraculous. Just consider that. In his day, he didn't have a car. If he rode on anything, it was a donkey. Remember that? Okay, they walked everywhere. There were no bicycles. There were no airplanes. There were no trains. They had donkeys who pulled carts. It took all day, maybe longer, to get a meal together. They didn't walk to the sink and open the tap and get water. Okay? They didn't have indoor plumbing. They didn't have gas stoves. They didn't have not one single of our modern things. They didn't have electricity. They had fire and they sat by the campsites. Okay? I mean, just can you imagine Jesus walking the streets just like he would be awestruck? Huh. What's this? What's this? What's this? You know, and yet at the same time, in his day, Jesus told us what we needed to live in our day. He said, truly, truly, I say to you, he who believes in me shall do the works which I do, and even greater than these things he shall do. So if he were to walk today, he would look around and go like, these miracles have come true. You have done more than what I have done. Stop and think of, I mean, even his healings we have surpassed, right? I mean, we have figured out how to make blind people see. We have had hearing people can, people who can't hear can now hear with cochlear implants. Okay, we have people who are their hearts have been transported from one person to the other. The only thing we haven't done yet, I don't think we've done a brain transplant. But, I mean, stop and think about all the things we have. People with no limbs now can walk. They ski. They do anything they want to. Stop and think about that. Stop and think about the time in which we live. It is absolutely miraculous. But I want you to, if you can't get it from that perspective, look at it from this way. In 2019, we celebrated the 50-year anniversary of the moon, not the moon landing, going up in space thing, NASA, okay? And during that time, these are some of the things we have gotten as a result in the last 50 years, okay? We've got CAT scans. Some of us have had CAT scans, okay? All right, ear thermometers, babies, mothers like ears, putting thermometers in ears much easier than some of the other ways we used to do it. Cochlear ear implants. And those of you who you've been using those Invisalign, things for your teeth to straighten out your teeth instead of braces, those invisible braces, those were originally developed to track heat-seeking missiles, that material. And then, we all have to have our UV blocking sunglasses. That came from NASA. Our homes are insulated by stuff that came from NASA, developed as a result of what they were working on for this, for the space people. The safety grooves in highways, when you go off the road and you go, that came from NASA. All right, better tires. Our radial tires now get 10,000 more miles than they used to because of things that they developed at NASA. Oh, how many of you like freeze-dried fruit? NASA. And of course, our GPS that can be used without wireless connection, it comes from NASA. Now, your portable computers, your camera phones, your computer mouse, okay, the mouse, and your wireless headphones, and of course, the World Wide Web, which we also know as the internet. We would not be here seeing each other like this today if it were not for NASA and the space program and all the companies that are involved. Because what they did was they hired various companies like Black & Decker. They said they needed something or another, and from Black & Decker did what they needed to do for NASA, and then they continued to develop the product. And now we have, those vacuums that you use, those handheld vacs that you clean up a little bit of here and that came from a NASA program too. So the thing is we're living in a miraculous world, but we don't even recognize that we are living with a miraculous space. We take it all for granted. We get in our cars and we go places and we don't even think about who invented that car or who did what. And yet at the same time, electricity, we go and we turn on switches, right? The technology for it was, the ideas for it, I guess, was there a long time because people have been studying electricity for a long time. Even and it's been in the world for a long time. Even the ancient Egyptians, found that there was an electric fish, and they used to tell people to touch that fish, and supposedly it would help heal headaches and gout and all kinds of different things. But stop and think about this. Electricity was used to light Manhattan in 1882. 1882. But Americans continued to use gas lamps and fire candles to light their homes for the next 50 years before only half of the homes in America were lighted, and there were a whole lot less than there are right now. Stop and think about that. Why did it take people so long to catch on to that? I think it's because they were scared. I think they were scared. They're like, no, we ain't putting that stuff in my house. Okay, all right. But we do stuff and we take it, catch it on just like that. We look at our computers and we go like, well, where's the update? Okay, right? I mean, we look for our updates like right away. We're expecting changes and we allow for them. Not 50 years ago, they're like, no, this is too much. But when the phones came out, when Apple came out with that phone, nobody said, oh, this is too much, right? They just said, whoa, let me get in line. I want one of these, okay? I mean, they would have people lining up overnight, sitting, trying to get one of the first phones. So here's the thing. We accept these miracles, but we don't look at them as miracles. We look at them as just ordinary ways of life and living, don't we? So my question is, where do all these ideas come from for all this stuff? What's the source of this? Because you see, we take so much for granted in the world that now we have to look to what it is that's creating this, and how do we, how do we experience it and how do we live with it? And how, of course, how do we make more of it, right? So what separates us from seeing these unimaginable changes in our life? Jesus, Philip said to Jesus, "Oh Lord, show us the Father. Show us the Father, and that is enough for us." And Jesus said to him, "All this time I have been with you, and yet you do not know me, Philip." And then he goes on, he says, "He who sees me has seen the Father. And how do you say, show us the Father? Do you believe that I am the Father and the Father is with me?" He's asking, Jesus is saying, look, I've been with you. I've been with you all this time. And you don't see the Father? You don't recognize that I and the Father are one. He who sees me has seen the Father. What is that? If you see me, then you see the Father. Stop and think about all of us and how we look like a parent. We look like our father or look like our mother, right? So kind of, it's like, if you have seen me, you have seen my parent. You have seen the person from whom I have come. And that's what Jesus is saying. If you see me, you have seen the Father. You have seen whom I have come from, all right? And he says, the words I speak, I do not speak of myself, but my Father who abides with me does these works. So what is he saying here? He's simply saying, I'm not the origin of these. I'm not the one who creates these miracles. These are not my ideas. I am channeling them, but they are not my ideas. They do not come from me because, why? I and the Father are one. If you see me, you have seen the Father. And then he goes on to say, believe that I am with my Father and my Father is with me. And if not, believe because of the works. So if you cannot believe me, believe what I'm doing, believe what's happening, look at what I'm doing, and realize that I could not do these things of myself. Now keep in mind, in those days, they had magicians, right? And so Philip probably thought he was a magician, but he's saying, no, I'm not a magician. I and the Father are one. And then he goes on to say, truly, truly, I say to you, he who believes in me shall do the works which I do, and even greater than these things he shall do. We live in the world that are greater than anything Jesus ever did. Stop and think about that. And yet, Jesus gave us the mental foundation for doing all the things that we do. See, Einstein believed in what he was doing in his science and his creations. of all the scientific things he got, because he got Nobel Prizes for other stuff besides EM3C, whatever square. I forgot that formula, but you know what I mean. All the scientists, all the doctors, all the lawyers, all the everybody's, all the spiritual leaders, we all come from that same source. All of us. And he is simply saying, we will all do greater things, and we have. We've done greater things. We fly planes that Jesus never thought about. We drive cars every day that Jesus never thought about. We get on bicycles. We walk through city streets that have plumbing underneath and sewage that goes out that they never had. I don't know if you've ever been to Philadelphia, but Philadelphia in July, when they were doing the Declaration of Independence, it was well, let us just say it didn't smell very nice. Okay, I mean, that's just 200 years ago. Okay, so Bruce Lipton is a scientist, and he studied about, he wrote a book called The Biology of Belief. And he says, well, first of all, let me tell you about, we have, everything we do is based on our belief. And Jesus told us that. So it's like, whatever we believe, do we believe that I and my Father are one? Do we believe that the world we live in is miraculous? Do we believe that we can do the things that we are doing? And so in his book, Lipton talks about how we have a mental model based on Darwin's idea of the survival of the fittest. And survival of the fittest gets us and encourages us to be in competition and struggle. But before Darwin, Jean-Baptiste de Lamarck had another idea. And Lipton says that his idea was that we survive through cooperation. His theory of evolution was just as all of our trillions of cells must cooperate to keep our body operating properly, then we also cannot survive unless we use massive amounts of cooperation with one another and with our environment. That idea did not catch on, just like electric cars did not catch on, because gas cars and electric cars were invented all around the same time. But they used gas cars instead of electric cars, and now we're trying to go to electric cars, and we're trying to work better with our environment. Jean-Baptiste de Lamarck, he was right. We need to cooperate. And he used the body as an example. Our cells in our body cooperate with one another. Bruce Lipton talks about how American Cancer Society discovered years ago that 60%, get this, 60% of cancer is preventable through what? Lifestyle, the way we live and the way we believe. Only 5% has to do with our genes. Stop and think about that. Only 5%. I know women who removed their breasts because they were worried that their genes were going to create breast cancer and they didn't want to get it, when all they needed to do was work on their lifestyle. That's a study of epigenetics. Epigenetics is saying that the way we, our bodies are responsive to our environment. And so here's the thing. We have to consider where we come from. We have to consider our source. We have to, are we like Jesus, or are we exceptional? That's what Ernest Holmes is talking about. Because we look at Jesus and other people, the people who, Einstein and Edison and all these people, Darwin and all, we look at them and we say they're exceptional. And Ernest Holmes is saying they're not exceptional, but they believe something that you perhaps and I don't necessarily believe. And the thing is we don't have to believe it for everybody. We just have to believe it for ourselves. Can we believe that we can be healthier in our body and not have to deal with cancers? You know, I don't know. I started studying science of mind a long time ago. And my dad became ill with Huntington's disease. And when he found out he had Huntington's disease, he lived in, my parents were divorced when I was growing up, and he lived in New York. He came to California and he sat us all down, my sister and my mother, my grandmother, and all of us, and told us that he had Huntington's disease. This was a genetic disease, and it was a 50% chance that Elaine and I, being his children, would have that gene also. I was studying the science of mind. I was a practitioner. I think I was studying, I don't think I was a practitioner yet, but I was studying to be a practitioner. And he's sitting there going, telling us this stuff. And I was like, taking it in, going like, I don't think so. I don't think so. I don't like this. This is not something that sounds really good. And I didn't know enough about it. And he just gave us a pamphlet and said, read this, right? And I started telling him, you know, well, you should do yoga. You know, there's things you can do. We can do prayer and all. And he's like, no, I have this. And my mother died of it. And I will, you know, we have, it's in the family, basically. And so we were talking about it. My mother, who's also studying science of mind, and my sister, you know, we're all sitting there talking about it. He went into one of the other rooms. He came back and said, don't be talking about me behind my back. What were we talking about? How he could heal, okay? He just like, no, we don't want to talk about that. His belief was that he had Huntington's disease. It was is part of his genes, and he was going to die from it. And I took that to heart. I went home, I prayed up a storm, and I said, part of my prayer I remember to this day was that this stops it right here, right now with this generation. And I did not realize, you have to be really careful because spirit is very specific. The subconscious, the creative mind is very specific in terms of what it creates. And I said, this generation, my sister is in this generation. She had Huntington's disease, but I do not. Okay. And I have kicked myself more than once to not say something more specific. I don't know. But here's the thing. When we found out that she was having signs and the doctor diagnosed her, we decided that we would help her as much as possible. And we did. And she lasted 7 years longer than my father. Because we did things. She had studied to be a practitioner, and she meditated until she couldn't, you know, her attention anymore. She meditated, she did her own prayer work. And we kept her active. We kept doing things with her. Her doctors were surprised that she was doing the things that she was doing. She did not start to decline until she went to live. And this is not a condemnation of her daughter, because her daughter had children. She was growing up. She had a family. They were both, her and her husband were both working, and they needed to put Elaine into, you know, into a place, a home, basically, with 2 other women who also had similar, one, I think one had a stroke and one had something else. Anyway, she wasn't getting the kind of attention that I was giving to her. But I had gotten to a point where I could no longer give her that attention. And you know, the thing is that I truly truly, absolutely believe that I am not victim of that because I refuse to have it. And I truly believe that she did better and she had a more quality life than many people with Huntington's disease. I've seen it. I mean, Huntington's disease can go a lot of different directions. And she had a better outcome and experience of it than most people do. And so I totally believe that's because of our prayer and meditation. And everything I read from Bruce Lipton and the biology of belief says that so. What we believe, we experience. What we believe, we experience. And we have science now that is proving to us that our experience, that we experience our belief. It's no longer, some airy-fairy idea that Jesus put out there, that Ernest Holmes teaches or anybody else teaches. It is fact. And we have a whole science called epigenetics, and that's what they study. So our GPS, our guidance system, is our belief. What we believe about our body, what we believe about our relationships, what we believe about our life experiences. We are living in miraculous times because we have people around us who believe in things that we don't have to believe. We just get to experience them because they have done the work of believing, but we use them. Do you see? We use them. We use them. We are experiencing something that Jean-Baptiste Lamarck was trying to tell us. He was saying that we as human beings have to be cooperative, compassionate, loving, and caring with one another, because that's how our cells work together. He looked at our body and said, you know what? All your cells work together. What happens when they don't? We get cancer. Stop and think about the world. When the scientists came back from 50 years ago from looking at the earth, what they saw was this great big blue, they called it a blue marble. They saw no divisions for countries or nations. They saw only a oneness. They saw only a oneness. And that's where the whole idea of globalization came from. Philip saw Jesus as a man who did magic, but we are not doing magic. We have the power to believe and then make the changes in our own lives. But we have to begin with a vision. And that vision is about our desire. If you go to the airport and you say, I want to buy a ticket to the agent says, what? Where do you want to go? Where do you want to go? And if you go like, I don't know, the agent is going to do what? Look up on the board, see what is going out next, and give you a ticket for that place. And you're going to wind up where? Wherever the ticket is going to. Do you see? But if you go up there and you say, I want to go to Istanbul, guess what? You'll get a ticket for Istanbul. If you say, I want a ticket for Juneau, you'll get a ticket for Juneau. If you say, I want a ticket to visit Ajika in Ghana, you'll get a ticket to go to Ghana and visit Ajika. Do you see? But if you just go up there and say, give me anything, that's what going to the school of life is. It's like going up there and saying, okay, God, give me whatever you got. What do you want to hit me with today? And then we wonder why we have crashes. We ran into somebody in the car. We both of us in the same space at the same time. Okay, so here's the thing. We have to know what we want. We have to have a vision, a desire. And then the cost of experiencing it, the cost of it is our belief. But the belief borders on, it's not that just, oh, I believe that's so. It's the belief that is so clear that it's like faith. But see, scientists don't use the word faith. Why? Because it's too religious. It's been taken over by religions, okay? They use faith. But faith is really what Jesus was talking about. It's that belief that does not waver. It is that belief that is so strong and so clear that you know and you know that you know. Do you see? So we use the word belief, but it's the belief of faith, not the little yeah, I believe that. No. This is the belief that doesn't waver. This is the belief where you just like, it's done. I know it. I'm done. It is. That is the belief that Jesus had. He never, ever, ever considered that when he said to the blind man, you can see, he had no understanding at all that that blind man would not see. When he said to Lazarus, get up, he had no doubt that Lazarus would get up. Do you see? But like Ernest Holmes says, we look at Lazarus and Lazarus is dead. That's just it, okay? He's dead, he's gone. But Jesus goes, no, he lives. He lives, he saw life in him. And he said, there is life. And he got up and he walked. Do you see? Well, they make that happen every day in hospitals now, except that they don't have the belief to just say it. They have to use paddles instead. But it's the same thing. Stop and think about that. They use an instrument to bring people back to life. And they're doing it all the time. And Jesus like, I don't have paddles. So I just have to say, get up, Lazarus. And he did. That's the way it goes, you see? Stop and think about all the miracles that we are living with right now today. You cannot walk down the street without having an experience. You cannot look around your home right where you are and see one miracle after another, after another, after another. And it's all built on the belief that somebody had. Somebody had. We may not have had it, but somebody had it, or we would not be living with it. Do you see? So we have to know where we want to go. And we have the faith we have to have the belief that is really faith. And a knowingness that truly we are what it is we want to experience. That's our GPS system. That's the one in the world. We could talk about the intuition side another time. Today, it's the belief. Okay, all right. Bruce Lipton said, the problems that will beset humanity will come from separating itself from nature that will lead to the destruction of society. Separating from our environment is taking our biology and cutting it off from our source. Jesus said, if you have seen me, you have seen the Father. I am not cut off from my source. I am one with it. Let us close our eyes and turn within and recognize, realize, and know in this very moment we are not separate from our source, no matter what our experiences may be, regardless of our belief, regardless of our understanding, our mental adjustments to whatever life we have been living, that we are always one with the source. And so we just right here and right now turn our attention, our awareness, and our consciousness to that place where we know unequivocally that this is true. We have that deep, unequivocal belief that I and my Father are one. I and the Spirit are one. I am God as one. Regardless of what it is we call that infinite source, it doesn't matter what the name is, just the knowingness that we are one with it is where our power is, where our intelligence, our wisdom, our creativity, and our love. It is the source of our very being. And so right here and right now, we fully and completely accept it. We accept it with all parts of our being. And we know that it is so. That in us, through us, and as us, it is expressing itself fully and completely. And we are totally and completely aware that this is who we are. There is no wavering. There is no questioning. There is no doubt. There is only the clear, absolute belief that as you see me, you have seen the Father. For I and the Father are one. And so we open our hearts right here and right now as we accept this word into our total being and allow it to express in our lives individually and collectively. So whatever it is that is needed and necessary in your own life right now, whatever healing it is needed, whatever relationship experience of love that is needed, whatever joy that is needed, whatever peace that is needed, whatever abundance or creativity is needed in our lives right now, just here and now know that whatever that situation is, that it is being healed in this moment. That it is being healed in this moment. For it is not the situation that gets healed, it is our belief that the situation is healed that heals it. And so in our oneness, in our awareness, we are now healing that situation and we are knowing it is done. So as I release this word now, I know that each one of us is blessed right where we are. That whatever it is we desire in our hearts, in our minds to be healed, that is being done in this moment as well. And so it is with deep gratitude and thanksgiving for this and so much more that I am knowing it is done and that we are, that I am at peace as a result. And so releasing and gratefully knowing it is done in peace and in love, I release this word now and know it is. And so it is. Oh, it is. Okay, Connie and Cynthia.
Hello. Hey, we're back. We're going to do a song that honors friendship and being there when you are needed. And I know as we go ahead in moving into our new space, we're all going to have to be there for each other. So here's a song to celebrate that and to celebrate my friendship with Connie. If you ever find yourself stuck in the middle of the sea, I'll sail the world to find you. If you ever find yourself lost in the dark you can't see, I'll be the light to guide you. You find out what you're made of when you are called to help a friend in need. And you can count on me like 1, 2, 3, I'll be there. And I know when I need you, I can count on you like 4, 3, 2, you'll be there. 'Cause that's what friends are supposed to do, oh yeah. Ooh, ooh, ooh.
tossing and turning, just can't fall asleep. I'll sing a song beside you. If you ever forget how much you mean to me, every day I will remind you.
Find out what you're made of. We are called to help our friends in need. And you can count on me like 1, 2, 3, I'll be there. And I know when I need you, I can count on you like 4, 3, 2, you'll be there. 'Cause that's what friends are supposed to do, oh yeah. Ooh, yeah. You always have my shoulder when you cry. I'll never let go, never say goodbye. You can count on me like 1, 2, 3, I'll be there. And I know when I need you, I can count on you like 4, 3, 2, you'll be there. 'Cause that's what friends are supposed to do, oh yeah. Ooh, count on me, 'cause I can count on you. You can count on me, 'cause I can count on you. Let's do it again. You can count on me, 'cause I can count on you.
Yes, 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 yes. Yes, yes, yes. Great. That's not only a great song, that is a great attitude and idea. Yes. Counting on one another.
Bruno Mars.
Yes, it's our talk today too. Thank you. All right, come. And it's time for Dorothea to unmute herself. Okay.
Hello, Reverend Sandra. That was an amazing talk. Thank you. Thank you. It's my standing ovation. Now we come to the part of our session where we're talking about conscious giving. Hope it works. Hope it works. Okay. We have 3 ways to give. The first way is through PayPal. And this is what the PayPal window would look like once you click on the link in the chat box. You are able to pick each individual section that you feel drawn to give to. And you can always take your giving and you can split it up. You can split it and you can give a little to each one. You don't have to give it all to one, but it's totally your choice. And CSL West Georgia will thank you. The second way to give is through letter. You can send it through the mail. And everyone doesn't want to go through PayPal, so you can actually send it through the mail, and the address is on the screen, but it's in addition, it's inside of the chat window. And the third way you can give is through our charitable donations, and that is with Amazon. And Amazon has a charitable donation that it connects to various organizations, and CSL West Georgia is one of those organizations. So whatever you purchase at Amazon, we at CSL West Georgia get a small portion through Amazon. So that is another wonderful, loving way that we give. And our giving affirmation is, I am grateful for the divine givingness circulating abundantly through my life and my community and my world. And so it is.
Thank you so much. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Okay, so announcements. Marcia, do we have the poll? Okay, so we have last year we did last summer we did Prosperity Plus 2, and this year we can do Prosperity Plus 3, and then we did the foundation class this spring. And so I, rather than just decide what I wanted to teach, I decided to ask you what you would like to teach. So this is our spiritual classes interest form. Okay, and so the Bible wisdom class is 15 weeks long, and what I'm going to do is break it up into 7 or 8 week segments because 15 weeks straight is too long to go. But the Bible wisdom class is a class that you would get credit for, CSL class credit for towards being a practitioner. The Bible class is Rocco Erico's class on the name of the class. It's called The 7 Keys, Let There Be Light. Okay, so it's the 7 keys to understanding the Bible. It's a really good class, by the way. It really gives you some insights. If you have studied the Bible from like a Baptist point of view or a Christian point of view, that is a really good Bible class because it really helps you to understand the Bible in ways that you're not necessarily going to understand it, from the Christian perspective. Prosperity Plus 3 is about dream building, and that's 7 weeks. I think last summer we did 10 weeks, but this class is only 7 weeks long. Change Your Thinking, Change Your Life is a great class too. It's also one of CSL's classes towards being a practitioner. It's only 5 weeks, and there's no book required for that. So that kind of has it's a kind of an introductory class to learning how to use your thinking. The Spiritual Principles and Practices is about spiritual mind treatment, along with the next Art and Science of Spiritual Mind Treatment and Treatment and Meditation, Spiritual Practice for Daily Living. All 3 of those classes, which are, that one's 5 weeks is the shortest one, 8 weeks or 10 weeks, those are all on the practitioner path. And they are all helpful to anyone who wants to learn how to do prayer, the way we do it in Science of Mind. And then self-mastery, that is a really wonderful class. I know a lot of people who kind of started with that. It really helps you to focus on yourself. If you are one of those people who, you're always doing for other people, and you find yourself going like, how come I'm not getting all the good out of life that I want? The self-mastery is a really good class too. So if you're interested in that, or if you're interested in something else, then please do let us know that. So Marcia has created a form, and we're going to send it out, and you get to say what it is that you enjoy doing. Okay. And I really appreciate your doing that within the next couple of weeks, because we want to start classes in September probably. And because we will have our own location, some of them will be done online, or a part of it will be done online, and some of them we can do in our own classroom space. Okay. All right. So now the other thing that we're doing is, Sandy, do you want to explain how the donations are going to work for the new building? One thing you need to know is that we have not had our own space since 2011. So we have no chairs, we have no furniture, we have no sound equipment, we have no napkins, we have no refrigerator, we have no microwave, we have no chairs, we have no podium. We have no microphone. We have no computer. We have no printer. You get the idea? So we kind of have to get everything in order to get going. And so Sandy's going to explain to you how we thought it would work for all of us to be able to contribute to, to filling that space with not just love, but all the items that, you need to make a home a comfortable place for us to live in. Okay, Sandy.
Well, we have, as you can see, I did a floor plan for us. That was a starting point. So we would know how to fill a space and what all we needed. So what we would love to do is, if you all, there's on the wonderful site that Marcia has created, you'll see there's a building fund, and that can cover just about anything. If there's something in particular that you'd like to donate, possibly, let us know, because all of it, anytime you give, you get something for a tax write-off. I mean, things like that. A donation is always helpful, because we need a base of finances. The building fund is really probably the most helpful at this point. Marcia is really needing all kinds of equipment. Cynthia's being wonderful with all the music. She needs equipment. Chairs, I have to tell you, Ronnie has already decided she's going to gift us with 50 chairs that you all will get to be able to sit in once we're in there. We need the kitchen. We need a microwave. We need a refrigerator. I mean, we need all kinds of things. It's almost like, it's like your home. When you're moving into a new home, what all do you need? And so please think about what it is that you'd love to see in the space, how you could help us give you a comfortable, wonderful space to come into. Reverend Sandra needs an office. So we need a computer. We need a printer. We need a desk for her to sit at. We need a chair. I've created a space on the floor plan, and you'll see that, where her desk and everything is. But we've also, in that space, I'd also created a spot for us to go. Perhaps you'd like a moment with a practitioner. Perhaps you'd need some time to meditate. It's a quiet space. We've put furniture in it for you to sit in, to be able to share. Perhaps you'd like to go in there and speak with Reverend Sandra quietly and, away from everyone. We need those things in order for us all to be part of the finished product, so to speak. So look online, look at our, where we have all our giving, and please help and let me know. My email is sandy@sjs.bz. Let me know if you have any questions, anything at all. Please get in touch and get excited. That's the biggie. Get excited about giving and helping and sharing everything and anything that you can, because it's going to be wonderful.
Okay, yeah, she put her email in the website. All right, so later this week, you're going to get another email. Yesterday's email for today's thing had the picture for the place, and it also had the floor plan, okay? So you can go online. We're asking you not to go in and ask the landlord to see the place. So if you happen to be in Douglasville, just don't go by there. That's what it looks like. Just, you can see where it is, but just don't, right now, first of all, our lease doesn't begin until September. And unless one of us is there, you have to bother them in order to get in. So just, go by and see where it is and let that be okay for now. We're going to later put up a work schedule so that if you have some talents that you would like to contribute, then you can do. And later this week, we're going to send out another email similar to this that has the items that we have selected. Sandy and I went through, we found, chairs, what else? We found a bunch of stuff. We're going to have the people come out and tell us what sound equipment we need. And when we get that, we will put it. Now, here's what we want you to do. If you will go on to the website and donate to the building fund and say, this is what I want to pay for. Like, for instance, a microwave, let's say the microwave costs $90. You say, building fund donation, $99 for microwave. Okay, something like that. And then that way we'll use that money towards the microwave. Okay. What it does is it allows you to make a donation to the church and makes it tax deductible. But at the same time, it designates how we're going to use the funds. Do you see? And that way it makes us know that we have the money to cover the things we need. And then we will just simply order those things online and have them delivered. And you're good to go. Okay, that's how we'll do. And then of course, everybody's donation, everybody who contributes will be acknowledge them in some way. Okay, so there's the building fund. Okay. And then is there a way for them to say microwaves or something like that on there, Marsha? Or do they have to email that?
I will look and see. I'm not sure.
Okay, all right. If we can't, you can just email us and say what it is. Okay. All right. Anyway, we'll have that information for you when we send out the email later this week. All right. I think that is it. Sandy and I have been over there this week, and Connie's been by, and Marsha's been by, and we're all excited about where we are. Dorothea, right? I mean, we're all excited, and we hope that you will, catch that excitement and enthusiasm, from us too, and be willing to support us. And
yes, if I can interrupt, yes, after you choose to
Okay.
make a donation into a category, you can add a note, and hopefully that will be sufficient to, if you feel strongly that it needs to go to a specific item, then after you've gone through the category and you click in, go ahead and add a note. If not, the general category should be, I guess, good enough. If you definitely want your money to go towards the new space, the building fund is the best category to choose.
all right, unless you want to choose the music stuff,
Yeah. One of the things that we are building literally is the stage. There is no raised stage for Reverend Sandra or the musicians to be up on. So we have somebody coming to give us a quote. I'm going to meet them there this week. And so that's something we have to literally have that built. So there will be labor involved, and there will be, of course, there's going to be product because we'll need wood and carpet to cover it. And so that is something that we are literally going to build. So you can stage.
Let me just add in, because y'all keep in mind, construction material is extremely expensive right now. There is a construction boom, and Cynthia can also attest to this. Plywood, which used to be very cheap a year ago, is skyrocketing. So we definitely, any type of building material, definitely we want to look into helping with that financially.
And if you have sources, for things, let us know, like people who paint, because we have to paint the walls, and people who build things, because we have to build a platform. We have to cover it with carpet and that kind of thing. Or if you have, sources, then let us know. Okay. Because this is a community space. All right. And we're building this together. All right. Thank you all for being here today. and our closing video.
You have to believe in yourself. You have to believe in your ability. You're capable of anything. You can achieve any dream. Please don't limit yourself. Don't live your life limited. It's not all sadness and misery. Life's a challenge, but you will succeed. Take control of how you feel in every circumstance. Work on yourself daily. Your story's far from done. The best is yet to come. To achieve, you must believe. You can live out all your dreams. Persevere, you'll make it through. What you need is all in you. When you believe, you will achieve. You can live out all your dreams. It's about time you knew the truth. You got the power all in you. Whoa, whoa, you have to believe in yourself. You don't have to hide anything. You can be your true self. Don't need to follow society. Never forget that you're blessed. That you're blessed. Give thanks for everything. Even the hard times will turn out to be blessings. No matter how you feel, you can learn from your pain. It's there to make you great. Your story's far from done. The best is yet to come. To achieve, you must believe. You can live out all your dreams. Persevere, you'll make it through. What you need is all in you. When you believe, you will achieve. You can live out all your dreams. It's about time you knew the truth. You got the power all in you. To achieve, you must believe. You can live out all your dreams. Persevere, you'll make it through. What you need is all in you. When you believe, you will achieve. You can live out all your dreams. It's about time you knew the truth. You got the power all in you.
Now, there is the capsulation of today's talk. Believe in yourself. Thank you all for being here today. We really enjoy having you, and you are loved and you are the beloved. So let us use our closing affirmation.
Myself, and I'm sharing. We go forth today knowing that we are God's blessing in the world. Only good comes from us, only good comes to us, and so it is.
And so it is. All right. Thank you, Dorothea. Thank you, Connie. Thank you, Cynthia. Yay for the music, everybody. Thank you, Mike. Yes. And thank you, everybody, for being here today. Thank you, Sandy, Marsha, the whole gang, Zizi. That's our tech team, by the way, in case you didn't know. Dorothea, Zizi, and Marsha. And they get on every morning, every Sunday morning, early enough for you guys to have all the things you need. And then Cynthia and Connie come on when it's their turn to do music. But everybody gets on early so that they can make things ready for you today. So let's just acknowledge them all. Thank them for being present and doing all that they do. Well, love you all. Thanks, Lily. Bye. See y'all next Sunday or before. Look for our email this week. See how you can support our community and growing.